I'm going to share with you today a little 6-month strategy that might well change your finances in the long term. This is essentially how to become somewhat wealthy from Pokemon cards in a very short time period, so 6 months. Now, with all that in mind, what I'm going to run through is some data around what the average weekly earnings are, maybe what you could put aside to spend on Pokemon cards, talk about how you plan on spending that across a 6-month period and how that'll grow for you in the future. So all you really need to do is make a 6-month commitment to spending some money on Pokemon card products. And of course, on this channel, we predominantly focus on sealed products. So we're gonna look at sealed products, what you spend for 6 months, and whether it's a 5-year period or a 10-year period, how that'll play out for you in the future. But all you need to do is commit 6 months of spending to Pokemon cards. Now, look, when it comes to this and these figures that I'm going to talk you through, they're US-based figures. Sorry to my Australian viewers, I appreciate you very much, but the vast majority of viewers of this channel are US. You can certainly convert it to Australian dollars. It's about 65 cents. The US dollar buys you 1 Australian dollar, but these are from US figures. And sure, so many people have so many different spending habits, but at the moment, what it says on Google straight off the net is that the average weekly US income is about $1,139 US dollars a week. So how much of that $1,139 US dollars a week do you need to transfer to Pokemon card? And for me, it's about $300 US dollars per week across a 6-month period. And let me talk you through it. So out of that $1,139 a week, the average US mortgage per week is $449, so about $450. If you spend, say, $200 a week on groceries and other bills like electricity and water, etc., maybe you spend $100 a week on your car, maybe you spend $100 on fun, maybe that includes going out for dinner and doing a few things. It leaves you, with all that in mind, $300 US dollars a week. And I get it, of course, everyone's situation is different. Don't pick me to pieces about these numbers, but if you work off the average US income, sparing $300 a week across a 6-month period, that's what this video is about. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples very shortly off that 6-month period. If you'd spent that amount of money 6 years ago and 10 years ago, and where you would be sitting now. If we do the sums, 6 months is 26 weeks. At $300 a week, that means you'll be spending $7,800 US dollars across a 26-week period or a 6-month period. Before we jump into those examples, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, which is of course the Collector app. You can download it in the description of this video if you don't have it. Please update it. There's always good updates. You can follow my journey down in the content creators section. Under the portfolio tab, there are some awesome new additions to this app. So you can filter in your most expensive sealed product or singles product, because you can add all your singles or sealed in. You can filter by what's performing the worst daily for you, or more importantly, what's been performing well. So what products do you have, sealed or singles, that are on the rise? Moreover than that, in the profile tab, typically you'd put in how much you've spent and what your total gains are and your paper value of your collection. You can now put in, once you've sold something, what you've made, so the profit you've made. It'll show you locked in profit now. So this app, as an investor, makes it so much easier to manage your Pokemon card investments. So awesome app. Some awesome data if you're a pro member. So again, link in the description to download that one. Right, so here's the premise of the whole video. 6 months, dedicate $300 US dollars a week, which is $7,800 across a 6-month period, and let it sit and see how you'll be performing in the future. So let's rewind the clock back to 2 time periods. Let's go back 6 years to start off with. 6 years ago, we had some very good Pokemon card sets coming out. We had sets like Hidden Fates, the last holiday set of Sun and Moon era. We had some of the tag team sets like Cosmic Eclipse, Unified Minds, and Unbroken Bonds. Of course, slightly prior to that, we had Team Up, but I'm not going to take that one into an account because it's gone absolutely crazy. Now, I get it. The other thing everyone will be saying is, look, times have changed. More and more people are keeping things sealed. Of course, I understand that. So I'm not saying these are the exact gains you're going to get, but if you lock away $7,800 for a short period of time, you could get some massive gains. So Sun and Moon era, let's say in this example, you've spent $7,800 across 6 months, and you've bought yourself 25 booster boxes of Cosmic Eclipse, 25 booster boxes of Unified Minds, and 56 Elite Trainer boxes of Hidden Fates. That's where you've spent all of those things, would have added up to $7,800. That's working off $50 an Elite Trainer box for Hidden Fates. It's working off $100 a booster box for both Cosmic Eclipse and Unified Minds at launch. This is back in 2019. No one knew what sets were going to blow up back then, and that's the other premise you need to keep in mind. We can have our best nous about what is going to be a good Pokemon card set based on, total set value and the hits you can pull from a set, but over time things can change. Poor sets can become good based on print run, based on customer or overall sentiment towards cards inside a set. Things can change. But if you'd invested that amount of money in these sets, 25 Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes, they're currently going for $2,976, even after the massive dip they've had or the market correction. So that would net you 25 booster boxes then, $74,400. 56 Elite Trainer boxes of Hidden Fates at $379. Not the returns that you would have got off Cosmic Eclipse, but you'd still have $21,224 worth of Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes. And with your 25 Unified Minds booster boxes at $2,420, you'd have $60,500 worth of Unified Minds booster boxes. If you add those three together, you'd have $156,000. So, well, to be exact, $156,124 sitting in your portfolio there, locked away. If you dedicated a 6-month period back in 2019 of $300 a week, so that might have been 3 booster boxes a week, it might have been 2 booster boxes and 2 Elite Trainer boxes of Hidden Fates a week. That is dedicating that time across 6 months to buying up those booster boxes, Cosmic Eclipse, Unified Minds, and that Elite Trainer box Hidden Fates. Look, again, I will premise, I don't expect we will see this level of gains again. And the reason being is, I do agree that there's more people than ever that are storing booster boxes and Elite Trainer boxes, so sealed product and Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes and collection boxes and everything else in between, for the sole purpose of investing and making money. There's also more people in the hobby than ever. There's more people opening Pokemon cards than ever. So there's a counter argument to it as well. But I do somewhat agree that we're probably not going to see these level of returns again, unless it's an absolutely stellar Pokemon card set like Evolving Skies. We might see it with Destined Rivals, and I'll get into some examples of where you could spend your money on right now if you're dedicating $300 a week. Now let's wind the time back, because I said I had 2 examples, just to, I suppose, hammer home the point. If you'd spent $7,800, so $300 a week across a 6-month period 10 years ago, we're back in XY era. So 10 years ago, that's back in 2015, we had sets like Ancient Origins, Roaring Skies, and Primal Clash out. Elite Trainer box sets were a bit few and far between in XY era. We of course had Generations in there, but solely holiday sets were a little bit rarer to come across back then. They're much more prevalent now than what they were back then. So if you'd spent, again, $7,800 working off $100 a booster box back then, and in some cases you could buy them cheaper than that. Roaring Skies was cheap for a long time back in 2015, 2016. It copped a decent size reprint, but that's 26 booster boxes of each. So at $100 a booster box, 26 of each, that's 78 booster boxes. 78 times 100, of course, is your $7,800. So you're $300 a week across 26 weeks. So 26 booster boxes of Ancient Origin right now at $5,000 a booster box. Ancient Origins has some very low pop PSA 10 cards in the hits there, and as a result they're worth a lot of money in a PSA 10, and it's really driven up the price of the booster box in recent times. You'd be sitting on $130,000 of booster boxes if you had 26 Ancient Origins booster box. Roaring Skies is another one that's really charged up in price over the last probably 9 months. Again, most of the market has a retraction, and don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of this market retraction. Everything's pulling back, from crypto to stock market to sealed Pokemon to single Pokemon to graded Pokemon cards. Like it's just pulling back. We can't see that level of growth we experienced over the last 9 to 12 months. It's absolutely insane. There was days when I would look on my collector app and it'd be up like $900, and the next day it'd be up $400, and the next day it'd be up $1,100, and it's just like, we can't experience this level of growth forever. The market needs to make a retraction, a correction, and I suppose I shouldn't say what better time, but what more likely time than around the holiday season, when people have so much other things to dedicate their money to. kids' Christmas presents, spouses' Christmas presents, other people's Christmas presents, holiday spending, whatever it might be, there's other things people are dedicating their money to. So of course, we're seeing a retraction in the Pokemon card space. This always happens around this time of the year, so don't be scared of it. So even with the retraction, Roaring Skies is still at $3,751 a booster box. So if you had 26 of them, you'd have $97,526 worth of value of booster boxes in Roaring Skies. And Primal Clash at $2,676 US a booster box, you'd have $69,576 in Primal Clash booster boxes. You'd be sitting on nearly $300,000 US of booster boxes, so $297,102 worth of booster boxes. Now the funny thing is, if you rewind back in time each era, so let's say Sun and Moon, we fast forward one era, and we go to Sword and Shield. Our total value, if we spent $7,800 on some sets that are maybe 3 or 4 years old, like maybe we bought Lost Origin, maybe we bought Fusion Strike, maybe we bought Celebrations, Elite Trainer boxes, whatever it might be, our value would be way down. Like our $7,800 might have turned into $40,000. Our $7,800 during Sun and Moon era has turned into $156,000. Our $7,800 during XY era has turned into nearly $300,000. If we go back in generations again, our $7,800, if we go back to Black and White era, if we're looking at sets like, any of them, Plasma Storm, Plasma Blast, Plasma Freeze, Dragons Exalted, whatever it might be, even Emerging Powers, the worst Pokemon card set of all time, our value would be more than $300,000. So what it's showing is, as sets age and the boxes become rarer and rarer, the value of them exponentially increases. That's just a well-known fact when it comes to sealed Pokemon card investing. The older it gets, the rarer it gets, even if it doesn't have good hits inside it or it's not a great Pokemon card set, the value of it still goes up. So with all that in mind, let's cast our attention to right now. So if we go right now, here's my program. I'm going to run 6 months, $300 a week. I'm going to dedicate that to buying sealed Pokemon card product over 6 months and go, yep, that's it. Lock it away. Lock it away, Eddie. Oh, that's an Australian saying. You Americans, that's if you ever watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in Australia, lock it in, Eddie, is a very famous saying. Anyway, I'm off track, aren't I? Where could you spend your money? $300 a week. At the moment, here's some examples. A Destined Rivals booster box is going for $383. I know it's slightly more than $300. If you could stretch to that, buying one of those a week. Look, and even more than that though, with Destined Rivals, like surely, it must be due for some level of booster box reprint across the coming months. And I really hope it actually does get a booster box reprint very soon, particularly in the holiday period when people's attention is turned elsewhere. I do think there's a lot of money sitting on the sideline ready to snap up Destined Rivals booster boxes. But if that money is starting to shift its attention elsewhere to holiday period, presents, going away, maybe it gives me more opportunity to buy more Destined Rivals booster boxes because I would love to pick up more. It's just a little bit of a hard pill to swallow at the current price that it's at. But that's one example of where you could put your money. Another one is Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer boxes. They have just been reprinted and they are as cheap as ever. Like they're $119. This is one hell of a Pokemon card set. Its total set value is astronomical. It has Pokeball reverse holos, it has Master Ball reverse holos, it has some terrific special illustration rares, including a Shinji Kanda Roaring Moon, plus all the evolutions, including a very nice looking Umbreon inside there, which as a PSA 10 is still holding its own against the Moonbreon from Evolving Skies. It is actually still a touch more expensive in a PSA 10 than what the Moonbreon is from Evolving Skies. This will be a fantastic set, plus the addition of God Packs in English. Like, $119. It's the biggest, still in my opinion, the biggest no-brainer of an investment in the whole sealed Pokemon card space at the moment. Another example is, if we go back in time a little bit, you might want to pick up the Charizard UPC. It's a similar price to what a Destined Rivals booster box is. It's the best collection of all the Sword and Shield alt art packs inside there. You get 3 phenomenal Charizard promos. You get the Charizard playmat. It is just a great pickup no matter what. I know it's getting old a little bit. Twilight Masquerade. That booster box has just dropped down in price quite significantly. It's now $268. That's a great pickup. That Greninja will go down as a great Pokemon card. I know some people hate it. I in particular absolutely love it. I love the artwork inside it. There are some better cards inside there than what people give it credit for. I think it's a really nice looking Pokemon card set. I think it'll perform pretty well in the future. And finally, Surging Sparks has dipped back down. $221 for a Surging Sparks booster box. I think there's value there. Warren Buffett always talks about one of his strategies being, buying something that feels undervalued. Like, to me, Surging Sparks feels undervalued at $221. To me, Prismatic Evolution's Elite Trainer boxes at $119 feel undervalued. I think they're both good pickups. So there's just some examples. If you can dedicate 6 months, think about 6 years in the future, 10 years in the future, those examples that I've given you, how you could be performing with your sealed portfolio. I'm Michael, this is Pokey Oz. Catch everyone next time.